I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is All the Mods Tend to the Sky. Now today, I want to further our gains even more here in the All the Mods Tend to the Sky world, and that is going to involve extended AE. Yes, we are going to extend our AE system even more. In last episode, I ended up getting all of the cables sort of built out. We have them going out here, and I have tons of access points. This is essentially going to allow me to tap into those 32 channels per cable. And so already we have a ton. But now we can't keep this clean look if we don't use a clean method of connecting these cables up to other networks. And that is where the extended AE mod really shines. And not only does it do that, but it is going to completely revolutionize and make compact our inscriber setup. Now, before we get into all of that, there is some things that we should probably do. Since we already have these cables, might as well run a cable for now over here and allow us to tap into all of our drawers. I think that'd be a good idea. And to be able to do that, we can use a storage controller. So I need to find like a central place. I hope all of these will be able to connect within range. And let's just see. Can I place this here? Is this going to be in the direct path of a cable? I mean, it looks like it will be. So let's go ahead and grab some cables here. And what I want to do is I want to extend a cable to connect to here. So yes, I am going to have to bring this up for right now. Very, very temporary. And until we get the wireless, so we'll actually be able to use it on something. But there we go. So I have this extended out, and then I am going to also extend this over to the controller. So that way we can connect these storages into this. Before I put a storage bus on here, let's actually get it connected. So we should be able to shift right click on the controller itself. And then I believe we just shift right click on the containers, right? Oh wait, no, I have the mode changed. We have to scroll wheel until we have unlinking from controller. We need link, linking to controller, unlink from controller. There we go. So now it is linked, and now we just right click. So yeah, you shift right click on the controller so long as you're in the right mode, and then we just link. And I think this can go up to 16 blocks. I'm also going to add this as well. And now all of these containers are linked in. I'm pretty sure though, like I can't hook up my mob farm to this because it's just too far away. Now with that in place, we need a storage bus, and a storage bus, it's going to need to go in a very specific way. So while we can make this and place it on there and just leave it, you might end up with some problems depending on your priority system. So in our case, we do want to make sure that we set some operations here, and we want to make sure that it can only be extracted from. We don't actually want our system to put any items into these barrels. So making sure it's extract only is probably a pretty good idea. But now with that in place, our AE system is looking a lot more full. Yes, all of our chests are now technically hooked to our system. But don't get me wrong, it is pretty ugly with all of these cables, but like I said, we're going to fix that momentarily. But let's also get our system over here hooked up. We can do it the exact same way. And I'll probably just use a storage. Yeah, might as well use a storage controller on that too. So same deal. We just simply link that up and grab a storage bus. And of course, same thing on this one. We want it to be extract only because I just don't want to accidentally be sending items into this barrel. Now, another interesting thing that we can do is we can make this a lower priority. So that way, if the items are in our disks, it will try to use them first before then trying to reach from here. So if we set this to a negative priority, it'll be lower than everything else on our network, which also could help. Priority can get kind of complicated, but I swear it is one of the best ways to handle items with Applied Energistics. And it's such a powerful thing to learn how to use. So essentially, all of those items that we just hook up to our system, well, we now can access them and we can use them in our automations, which is going to be so nice. Oh, by the way, since we're working on more AE this episode, in the last episode, I asked you what was your least favorite part of Applied Energistics. Today, what is your favorite part of Applied Energistics? I would love to hear from you down in the comments below. All right, let's get on with this. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk extended AE. Now, with extended AE, we really have to focus on this new thing called Entro. Entro crystals, to be exact. But honestly, once we get a certain amount of them, we don't have to worry about it anymore because there is actually a way that we can infinitely loop this stuff. And the way we're going to be able to loop it is this way right here. But this is technically considered a recursive craft to Applied Energistics. So when we get to that part, just keep that in mind. You can't just like request craft it. Instead, we're going to have to use something very special to be able to do this. Now, we first need to get intro before I can even start talking about all of that. Technically, I should be able to like just make intro, right? Well, we actually need an intro seed to be able to do this. And this is what is actually going to get us started. Now, let's throw some stuff together to be able to actually make this. So we are going to need a Fluix block, and then we're going to need a growth accelerator. Now, I'm just going to place some Fluix blocks like this, so I can place a crystal resonant generator on the back, like so. And then I'm going to break all of these, break a growth accelerator, and we are going to use crystal growth accelerators, well, just called growth accelerators now, to be able to accelerate this process. Because when we use the intro on a Fluix block, it turns it into a bud. And we need these to accelerate the bud growth. But also, this will eventually break this bud. Notice it says budding mostly. Yeah, as soon as we break this, well, it's going to continue to grow, and eventually it's going to revert back to a regular Certus block. So yeah, but I mean, we can keep making these intro seeds. They're not that difficult to make, but we got to keep doing this until we have quite a few of these intro. I would say at least 32, because I think if we have at least 32, then we can duplicate it up to 64. So yeah, we need exactly 32. Yeah, look at that. Fumbling Chosen over here, just fumbling around. And by the way, with this setup, you may be noticing that the crystal resonant generator can power a growth accelerator. Yep, and it's free. It is exactly what you see. It is so nice. And there's the 32. So it actually didn't take too much. I mean, it took literally just 2 run-throughs. This is the 3rd run-through. So 3rd seed, just to get the 32 needed. And now that I have the 32, I am going to have to wait just a minute because I don't have anything better than this for crushing. But yes, we're going to toss this into the machine here for the inscriber to crush it down into intro dust. Now, I promise soon this stuff won't be so janky and just like floating up in the air. But for right now, we're coming back to the reaction chamber because this is where the magic is going to happen. So we need to take that Fluix, right? And I think it was it 32 Fluix? Exactly 32. So yes, this should be able to take our 32 and 32 and quite literally duplicate it. It takes a little bit of time here because I don't have any acceleration upgrades, but there it went. And now I should have 32 in here. Well, technically I have more than 32, but we got 64 back, not 32, 64. So we've essentially doubled it. Now, what we got to do is we got to find a way to be able to repeat this process over and over again. And then we don't have to worry about intro anymore. Like, we'll be able to infinitely generate it. You may be wondering, is that necessary? It's 100% necessary, trust me. We just got to make a few patterns. For example, this is the inscriber, and it will be faster if we have faster methods of crushing. That is the one thing that is going to hold us back, is just simply doing the crushing process. But outside of that, everything should be pretty simple. We'll just make sure to repeat this. And we have everything else on AutoCraft, so I think that is just it. Now, though, we have to figure out, how do we get around this recursive crafting problem, which is a problem right now. Like, if I go to craft this, it'll be like, hey, you can't do that because you don't have intro available, even though we could use the amount we have to make it. And this is, like I said, this is that recursive issue. And so the requester has entered the room. And yes, the requester is very, very powerful for this reason. So we can use a requester to quite literally do this exact thing. And so for right now, I'm just going to place the requester over here. But this is where we need to specify to craft 2 different things. We need to request intro dust, and we also need to request intro itself. So these are the 2 things that we are going to need to do. I'm going to go ahead and toggle these for right now. And we need to set, like, how much do we want to keep in stock? So for example, we can say 64 right here, and then we can do a batch of 64 right here. And every time that it runs out of 64, it's going to request in a batch size of 64. That should be fine. And then same for intro. However, intro is a little bit different. We probably want to say, let's go ahead and do, I mean, we can do the same thing. We can say, let's keep 128. No, let's keep 1,048. That way we have a bunch in stock. And then this, we can do a batch size of 64 as well. It's not a big deal. Actually, maybe not. Let's just do 32 for right now. But essentially what is going to happen is if it drops below this number, it will perform a request to do a craft. And that craft is going to send a batch of 64 crafting requests essentially. And so it should send 64 of them to be crafted up. And then same for the intro over here. It's going to be able to basically rinse and repeat and do the same process. So we should see our crafter actively working on duping it all the way up until it reaches this value right here. After that, next thing on the do list is to make a crystal assembler. Yes, we need all of these components, including taking in the reaction chamber and making ourselves intro infused ingots. Or you could do it the in-world route. And after crafting up a little bit of that crystal assembler, here we go. Yet again, another machine that we can actually set up a pattern provider for. Now, just like all of the other machines, this does have an auto export mode, and then you can pop into the config side and set the side you want it to send to. And we want it to send to the pattern provider, of course. So what do we want to then craft? Well, I mean, we can just set up honestly anything to be able to craft in here. And we can always wipe the patterns. It is just, in my opinion, easier to just build this and have this do the thing by having it auto craft. And then, yeah, you can always, like I said, wipe it. So like, for example, I need a silicon. We need like an iron block to be able to duplicate this. And this is going to get us a concurrent processor. Very interesting. And so now that we have the silicon in here, I mean, I can just, I think, request this press. And there we go. The concurrent processor. Nice. That should send into this. And I think this is everything. I mean, it should have power. Unless I have to turn this. Maybe it can't be powered from the top side. Doesn't seem like it's getting power, honestly. Let's see. Does rotating this change anything? There we go. And yes, now it is getting power. But we may have to change the config side. Nope, it looks like it works just fine. Now I will automate the concurrent processors here in a moment, but for right now, I don't actually want to do that per se. So what I want is to get some silicon, and then over here, I'm just going to replace the logic with the concurrent, and I'm going to use this and do it by hand for right now to get a few of the processors, because I mean, here soon, we're not even going to automate the processors this way. Oh, and by the way, this is just going to use intro crystals. So here we go, circuit slicer. This is a huge step, being able to make the slicer. So I started to get a lot of the autocraft started, but circuit slicer, definitely one of the bigger ones on the list of to-dos. Let's see, I have the concurrent. I think that's it. Okay, yeah, we should have everything to do this. Extended circuit slicer, perfect. So that's going to send all of the ingredients into the assembler, or at least it should send to the assembler. Come on now. Ah, there it goes. Okay, so it just took it a second. Oh man, the circuit slicer is going to be so nice. And if you haven't seen what the circuit slicer can do, it can take block forms of things, which we are going to have the crafter craft things into blocks. But once it does craft it into a block, it will then process that entire block into its components. And this is insanely powerful, making this process so much faster. And then we've already built the assembler, and the assembler allows us to then take everything and use 4 at a time to make processors. And when this is upgraded, it is so fast. This is huge. This is big deals. This is big deals for our AE system here. So now what I should be able to do is get rid of all of these inscribers. Well, for now, every one of them but this one right here, because we still need these things. But I mean, yeah, all of these patterns, these are going to need to be changed, and we'll just essentially swap out these patterns for the full block versions. You know, the more I play around with these mods, the more I'm just like, man, back in the modded day, man, the processes that I would have to go through, the hoops I would have to jump through to be able to set up automation for these things was absolutely wild. And now it's just been made so easy, so much better for like the general person who hasn't been playing modded Minecraft for years to just literally pick up by following JEI. Like this is what it should be, right? It should be like this, I think. Like it just feels right? Just being able to get all of your processors in here, all of these things being made up inside of the assembler. I mean, now if I want, for example, to make a circuit, let's just say I need a logic circuit. I need a few of them. I can go ahead and hit this button. It's going to craft up some gold, which is going to make these circuits. Then it's going to make those. And we're going to see the circuit slicer go to town. Well, assuming that I have it set up correctly. Let's see. Let's make sure it's rotated. I think it has to be powered from that side. Yeah, there it goes. You can see it's actually being farmed in there. Oh, so nice. And like before you know it, all of this is done. And we can speed it up by adding the acceleration cards. which make this, I mean, happen instantaneously, basically. Now, also the extended inscriber should be able to take the place of this inscriber right here. So let's move that out of the way. And let's see, can we get this placed in here? Well, not there. Hold on a minute. Move you. Perfect. So yeah, I think this will work. I mean, if it's like anything else, we have to make sure it's rotated to the correct side. So there we go. It's facing up, and then make sure this is auto sending. And it does have the different jobs. So it has different pages for jobs. So you can do 4 of these at a time. And I think if we set the stack limit to 4, that should be good. That way it kind of evenly divides all of our components here. And it should split it between all of the different pages, I think. So yeah, that should make intro a bit faster. Like if I go to pull this out, intro should now go into here. That should get processed up. And it should be a lot faster. You can see the items going in, and it's in all of the pages. So yeah, 4 times faster, if not even faster than that, due to this process. And I know I haven't mentioned this yet, but yes, we do have extended pattern providers, which extend this pattern provider to 4 times larger. Yeah, you can fit 4 times more patterns, and there's a convenient auto upgrader that allows you to just simply upgrade the pattern provider, yeah, directly in world, so you don't have to take your patterns out. But yeah, I plan on moving all of this, so I'm not super worried about all of that just yet, but that is something that we'll probably end up having. Now for the thing that I actually need from this mod, the ME wireless setup kit, and to actually make the wireless connectors. So this is going to require a singularity, so I do need a 64K disk, which, I mean, now would be a good time to probably auto-craft all of the discs being able to be made. So yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and start from the bottom here. Let's see how long does it take for us to make a 64K now that we have the circuit inscribers. Not that long at all. Yeah, with the crystal assembler and the circuit slicer, this whole setup is wild. Now back up top, let's go ahead and pop a hole down here because I still have my matter condenser hooked up to the water over here, and this has been making matter balls, but we are going to stop this, and we need this to be switched to singularities. And for right now, this is a perfectly fine setup for getting at least a single singularity. And we do, however, need a 64K. Just a 64K that we just made. We need that to go into here, and we just need to let it generate. Like I said, this doesn't take very long at all. And I guess for the time being, if you just wanted to get one really fast, like a netherite pipe upgrade would be fine. But I would not do this on a server. And that's because these ultimate pipe upgrades can be very tick hungry. Like, just be careful using pipes in general. Like on a server, yeah, even in a single player world, you can notice a significant loss in TPS. It is very rough. Early game, it's like more than fine, but like, yeah, it can get bad the more of them you use. Now this one is almost done making, but honestly, there are very quick ways of making singularities that we could always do here in the future. But right now, to stay not so complicated, this is by far one of the easiest methods just to get like 1 or 2. I'm looking at you, Void Cell. And perfect. ME wireless setup kit. And things are going to get easier from this point forward. Now, I have just about everything. We have our ME wireless connectors. It does make a batch of 2 whenever you do craft these. And these do take a little bit of time to make, as we do have all of these, but there we go. So we have our wireless connectors, and the way that this is going to work, let me just kind of demonstrate here. So I have all of these areas set up, and I have them extended, and I'm not going to be connecting directly to this 8-channel network. No, I'm going to be connecting directly to here. So I will have to, for example, pop off one of these and put this here, but notice this is connecting to all of the other cables. That's a bit of a problem. And the reason is because this is technically like a Fluix cable, and you do have to change its color. We will have to dye it. So we can use the same thing that we used last episode, the color applicator, and we need to color it the same color as the cable that it's connected to. So we can do that also by middle mouse clicking and shift right clicking on here. And now this is a white colored connector. And then we just simply need to link it somewhere else. So for example, right here, we can take that same connector and I could just push it right up here in the roof if I wanted to. So I'll place this one just to connect to the main system here and have it nice and hidden. And we can also paint this one white, but it's not actually necessary. We don't have to paint it white, but we right click and then we right click on this And now they are linked, and you can see they're online and they turn white. So this is now wireless AE, and I can just simply carry the cable, and I don't even have to use a white cable or anything like that. But I do have it, so might as well use it. We'll take the same setup that we just used earlier, make sure to set that to extract only, and that is hooked up. You can see device online, everything is online, and we are back in business. But we are more wireless. However, this does get a little bit more expensive on power. So this connector, the wireless connectors, they do add up. So you have to keep that in mind when setting these up. I'm trying to figure out where is it at in this list here. Does it even show up in the list? Either way, let's see, channel passive, let's switch it to FE. Let's see, our energy usage right now is almost 1,000 FE per tick. We're at 800. So it did go up. I just don't know by how much. Ah, okay, there they are. So yeah, just that distance alone, we're at that costed me 291 FE per tick. So they are expensive on power, but power in this pack is basically free. I can actually go ahead and compress all of these, right? Yeah, I mean, I should probably do that. I mean, it will shut my power down temporarily, but let me grab all of those. And then, yeah, we craft this before my AE system crashes out. And there we go. So there's a 64 times right there. Oh boy. And I think I'm going to need to upgrade. I'm going to need to upgrade these. Let's see. Is this going to be enough to support the power? That only handles 32. Yeah, this is only producing 10,000, so that's more than enough. And just like that, that's a 10,000 RF per tick generator just using very little lava here. And there you go. So now you can kind of see my reasoning behind cleaning this up. I mean, it gives that aesthetic, makes it so much easier. You don't have to have these cables strung out everywhere, branching all over the place. You can kind of be creative, a bit more creative with how you want your setups to look. Now, something I will note about these, they do not go cross-dimensional, and the further away in dimension that you have them, the more power they're going to cost, and I believe it's on like an exponential scale. So yeah, just keep that in mind. The further away from the actual source, the worse the power drain is going to be. So you kind of want to optimize that, and like I'm going to try my best to optimize this. So if I have a setup over here, I'm going to try and use these cables, like for example, this one's right here, so I'm going to use it right here. This one is over here, so yeah, I mean, I could have probably made it closer by hooking it up here, but still, it is within a general distance that's not like crazy, for example. Actually, the more I look at it, I should probably swap it to be over here. And that's actually pretty easy to do, by the way, just swapping the distance. Like if I want to change its location, I just simply move it back over here, change its color, and then I just re-link it like that, and now it's shorter. Should be using less power. And also something to note, this is also transferring the same channel. So this technically has 32 channels going into it. It's outputting 32 channels from this side. I know I'm only using one channel right here, but it also continues it on through the chain. So the requester is still utilizing it, and we're using a total of 2 channels here. And this also makes like knowing where your channels are going so much easier, because I can always track it back down to the main lines. And because I know there is nowhere else for my my stuff to go, we're always going to know how many channels we're actively using. Now, in my opinion, that's one of my favorite parts of this mod. Like definitely the wireless aspect of extended AE is my favorite, but there's a lot of other really useful things that it adds. For example, an infinite water cell, an infinite cobble cell, and any of the infinite cells that may be extended on. I don't know if all of those are in here, but I mean, they all originate from right here, from this mod. So pretty darn cool. We even have extended drives. So your drives basically double in space. So you have significantly more drive space if you were to make the upgraded drive. And it even has a tagging storage bus, and it has tag related filtering, which has been missing for a long time from AE. And in my opinion, I mean, if mod devs get to use tags in such a cool way, why can't we whenever we filter our items? And then not to mention, we have the extended import and export bus, and also an extended pattern terminal. There's just so many fun things. I mean, having more space in your export bus is just, it should be a thing, especially since modded Minecraft has just grown so much and there's just so many items. It's just so much to keep up with. I mean, just look at this. We went from chests to this. Like, I mean, Yeah, we have a lot of items. Now I know I'm jumping back into the mod here, but there's so many cool things like the storage bus right here. Let's just say, for example, that you wanted to use a storage bus system to filter items into a particular chest. Well, you could just define and say, hey, I only want these items from this mod to end up back in this chest. And you can do that with like the storage bus. And there's a couple of other things you can do too, like a precise, where you can specifically say what you want and specify the exact number that you want to keep in stock. I mean, all of those things they may be small use cases, but you may find yourself in a situation where you need them, and this mod covers that. Don't even get me started about the assembly matrix. Oh boy, how this thing is very, very nice too. And something else that it also adds apparently through a crafting recipe is this quartz blend, which utilizes sand and coal and Certus quartz, and it gives you 6 blend, which is very interesting, by the way. And then this blend can then be smelted, yeah, down into 4 silicon. Like, what a quick way to get a ton of silicon. Like, that is great. Now, I don't have the sand and gravel and dust like constantly being automated and fed into some sort of storage so we can access it. But that is something that I'll need to do very, very soon, especially with recipes like that. You know what? Since I've got all of this stuff and we kind of understand what's going on here, I mean, might as well start to actually expand out into the base area and actually get these assemblers up and running. So my goal is to take and clean this mess up and actually move it out here. And I just love the idea of this being front and center and prominent inside of the base. So the way you can see all of the things that are going to be doing all of the crafting and such. So first things first, extended molecular assemblers and also extended pattern providers. I mean, this is going to be excessive. I will say that. It is probably more than I will need, but it is going to look good. You know, that's kind of what I want to do. Now, technically, I'm going to need 64 pattern providers and 64 molecular assemblers to complete this entire area. So I could do 64 minus 8. And am I going to have enough of this? Yeah, I'm not going to have enough concurrent processors. I thought I had these set up to auto. Oh, no, that's right. I don't. I just got to get this done. And it looks like we can craft it, though. Just got to make the pattern for that. I tell you what, this is crafting up like way faster than I was expecting it to. I'm loving this. Now, if I'm gonna get started on these, I don't want to build them all by hand. That would be crazy. So I am going to use the copy paste gadget. This should be really nice, so long as you do it without patterns inside of these things. Yeah. Now I do want to go ahead and get these bad boys placed in, but I'm not sure. Do I want it to go up this high, like one off the ground? I think I like the idea of it going one off the ground. We'll have to facade the bottom, but it allows me to cap these off and have them look kind of different. Now, what I want is I want this to be like so. Let's grab our wrench, pop these off. And I want to build them the same way that I normally build them, where I build a perfect 2x2 cube. And this just is a very, very nice space saver. And I've not really encountered the need to go any faster than this or make anything larger. Like it honestly, this gets the job done, and I have not had a single problem. So I'm building both of these because when I go to paste these over here, well, we're going to have them in both orientations. Specifically, if I want these pattern providers, which is how I'm going to power the system, to be the connection points. And yeah, we're going to have them on all the sides. That's why I made 64 of them, right? So there we go. All of these built up, that configuration. And then I'm going to use the copy paste gadget. So I will right click right here. It's really hard to right click it, but I right clicked it and then shift right click this area. And this is copied as soon as I hit copy, right? It's ready to go. If we go to the paste mode, this is where I can now paste. Notice, by the way, this is not in the correct orientation. We are going to have to rotate that. And then I need to go into the menu here and bring it up one. And voila, I'm able to paste it in. And then voila, I'm able to paste it in. And then I should have the exact same thing on this side. So I bring it over here, paste it in, bring it over here, paste it in. Oh man, I tell you what, the copy paste gadget, I should have used this a long time ago. I really should have. For things like this, Like anytime I'm doing multiple things, look at that. It's already in. Didn't have to hand place them all. Now that I think about it, I probably didn't even have to build this one. I could have just, yeah, copied it over here. I'm also going to need some CPUs. And I think for right now, just to make them kind of stand out, I'm going to use 64K. So we'll have our crafting storages here. And I'm going to use 8 of the co-processing units each. I think that's sort of the bare minimum if you're going to be using the molecular assemblers, or at least 7 of them, because these can process 8 items at a time. So we want to make sure that it can send all 8 into at least one molecular assembler. However, we do have up to 3 molecular assemblers, or 4 molecular assemblers, right, for some of these. So in reality, we would probably want even more co-processing units, because the more of them you have, the larger the batch size of items is. So it'll try to send, for example, 8 to here. That's all it can hold, but it's trying to send like 32 as a whole. So it will send 8 here, 8 here, 8 here, and 8 here if we had more of these post-processing units. But that's something we can work on in the future. For right now, I just want to do 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It already is very, very tall. And as soon as I remove that, perfect. That's the thing. I might want to bring this down 1 or 2. Now I was thinking for this, we can go ahead and use our orange line. I think that makes total sense, using this connector right here and making sure it is set up top to orange. Well, of course we can click it technically if I could have reached it. There we go. So I have that set to orange. And I think, what's the pattern we should go with here? We'll just, for example, have this one connect over to this side. I'm thinking right about here. There we go. So that'll be linked over there. I still have to get the linking tool. So let's get that. Might as well do it as we get this going. So I'll click here, and then this going to link here. That's going to be great. And then I'll just run my cables into these. And then any other machine on this side will be connected to this one connector. This is going to be great. You know what? As far as the connection goes at the bottom, I mean, very, very simple down here. Doesn't really matter, just as long as I extend off of this with some dense cables, just to make sure we can evenly distribute all of the channels. There we go. 32 channels. I mean, we're not using 32, but we're definitely using 16 plus 1. So we have plenty more to kind of use over here. So now I almost have everything ready to be moved over. I have all of the cables hooked up, space. Let's get these pattern providers moved over here. I think for right now, I'm just going to put the pattern providers on these spots. So this will allow us to process some stuff and still have some room left over. Then I'm going to figure out where am I going to put my terminal area and storage area. I mean, already I can start to clean a lot of this up, so I don't really need these anymore because we've already moved it. And we're about to find out like how much space we actually saved. It's kind of ridiculous. So these are the patterns that I currently have inside of my molecular assembler tower. And already you can see that is 3 of those emptied, but look how much space we have in these. It's so much more. We can fit this like all in just one, but this isn't the optimal way to set this up. But yeah, I mean, for right now, I'm just going to get them all thrown in here. They're now all moved over, but I've got to figure out where am I going to put this? The place that's going to hold all of my disk drives for right now. And I'm thinking this tower right here might be a good spot for it. I just got to get one of the wireless set up in here. And it doesn't need to be anything fancy, just a place to house some of our terminals and also house our wireless access point, just so we can get this out of the center. And then we also need to set a energy cell somewhere connected to the network. Thankfully though, the energy cell doesn't have to be attached directly to the controller. It can be attached to any of our cables. Now for the screens, I am going to need some facades. And our screens, by the way, are going to be whatever color the cable is connected to. So in this case, we're going to have some orange screens. I'm going to pop these screens off just like that. And we can put, for example, like our main pattern encoder right here. I do plan on having a wireless version of this soon, so we won't even need these screens, but regular crafting terminal, we can put that there. And I think at this point, I might as well also make another terminal that allows us to access all of our pattern providers that are up top. And that is quite literally called a pattern access terminal. So when we place this on here, you can see, I can see all of my slots that are available for my assembler. So many. And I do recommend placing your patterns from top down and then moving over to the next. This is just going to make sure everything's nice and optimized. And I think that is a pretty decent way of going about it. Not just dumping everything in like you see right here. Yeah, I'm going to fix this. Now to blend this all in, we just simply right click here. It does such a good job at like concealing this whole thing. Cover the whole thing up. like that. And I could cover this up. I don't know if I really want to though. Like, I think I just want to cover this section right here. And so we can just throw that on there. I mean, that looks pretty clean. And I mean, now it's just a matter of moving our cells. So I'm going to move them the same way that you sort of sort them. So from top down, left to right. That's how AE likes to work, is from top left to top right, and then move down to the next line. And we'll just continue on. So this is all my storage for right now. I think that's almost everything. I mean, the only thing I can probably do is in the back here, I can drop this in. And this is an AE system reimagined, reset up, super duper clean now. Oh boy. And there we go. That is basically everything migrated over, moved over. We're looking really good. Oh, I am happy to see this. But you know what? This is looking really good. And can you believe I'm still in iron armor and I have all of this now set up? Oh, this is great. And everything is falling in place as planned. I sound like this is an evil layer now, but honestly, I mean, I now can just about do anything I want automation wise. Like I have it now. Oh, this is going to be great. And I think if you were having a hard time keeping up with me, you're going to really have a hard time keeping up with me really soon, because this means more automation. I think the hardest part is just going to be building the tower, so we have places to put mods. But if you did enjoy today's episode, of course, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and well, give this video a huge thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. I know it was more AE, but we're going to be diving into some more mods. I want to dive into more Rs and all kinds of other fun stuff and continue on through our progression of ultimately getting the All the Mods star. But guys, it's now time to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that amazing thanks is going to go out to Venish. Thank you so much for your amazing support in choosing to support me over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and supporting my content in one of the best ways possible. You absolute boss. And guys, I look forward to seeing all of you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.